Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we are going to have a lot of fun painting this. This is going to be actually the first big Tyranid monster that I will paint, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun. I'm going to use for this the same color scheme that I used for the first Termagant that I painted. I will leave the link in the description, of course. And I want to say that before priming it I had to add some green stuff because, of course, being push fit, even if I used glue, I wasn't able to perfectly cover all the gaps and they were quite noticeable, so I decided to add some green stuff. Hopefully they won't be too visible. And that being said, let's proceed with priming the miniature with Chaos Black like I usually do. And let's start with this amazing creature. Here we have this beautiful model already primed with Chaos Black, and of course, as I did last time with my Termagant, I will apply Cantor Blue to every part of let's say hard part of the caparas and such, like not only the caparas in the top but also these parts here and the legs as well. I want every part that I consider to be let's say exoskeleton and such, I want it to be look very hard. So let's start with that. It's going to be very fun. And now that every part of let's say that every armored part of the miniature has been covered in a very nice blue, I will proceed with the skin flesh parts. And of course, like I did in the past, I'm going to use Demonite Hide. And after I paint the skin parts, I will continue with these blue parts because, of course, this needs a lot of work to look nice. So let's proceed with that. Let's continue with this fun project. And now I have the let's say, soft flesh parts of the model painted, and also like this hardened armored exoskeleton ones also painted. And I will continue. I will try to finish this, let's say, blue part, and for that I will add some null oil, because I want like every single gap between each piece to be much more noticeable. And I also want this blue to look darker, because I like it to be blue, but I want it to be like a dark blue. So let's proceed with that. And with the null oil dry, this is how it looks. I like to give this wash because I like how it looks after it, because it's not only that I have black in the gaps, it's also that I have this darker color, and it has this, let's say, shiny, glossy effect that I like a lot, because in my opinion it makes it look like it's more alive, let's say. But it's a matter of preference. Of course, you can just add some black paint in the gaps and it will be nice. But if I put it to the front, you can see that this side, I like this side more. Here I don't have null oil yet, but you can see from the side, for example, in the legs and such, that this side feels more alive to me. And after this, I will apply null oil in this side as well. And then we will proceed with the, let's say, shell part. I will use for that aliotic blue for all the edges, and then we'll continue with the model. So let's go for that. And with that, our first highlight should be done, and it looks much better. I like it. Now it looks like it has more texture. And now I will continue with the highlighting and adding the effects. So I will use now Thousand Suns Blue, because basically these are the two blues that I have, Thousand Suns Blue and Ahriman Blue. So I will try to do this kind of lines effect in the, let's say, hard parts, to make it look like it will have more texture, let's say. And then I will try maybe to add some Ahriman Blue on top of that. So first of all, let's try with Thousand Suns Blue. And as you can see, it's starting to look more like it should look actually. It's quite subtle right now. I should try to make it now a little bit more visible in the next layer. But I will see how much I can do it, because I'm still like trying to learn how to properly do this, so I'm not pushing too much on myself, and I will only try to do this, of course, in the more armored parts, like these regular body parts. I don't see the point of doing that here, because it's like small joints and articulations, so now I will try to do it with the bigger part. So let's see how it will be. I will apply some Ahriman blue. It's a lighter blue than the one that we can find here. So let's see how it looks, and I will try to do my best. And as you can already see, I applied the Ahriman blue on the edges of these parts, and it's quite subtle. It's not as perfect as I have seen some miniatures that I have seen online, but it's quite nice. I'm happy with it, because it's you can clearly see like the effect, even if it's not super visible. It's quite subtle but still visible, so I'm quite happy with it. And to continue with the model, now I will proceed with the mouth, and for that I'm going to use some, first of all, I think I will use Screamer Pink, and yes, I think that it should suit actually, so I will add a little bit of that, and then I will proceed to paint around that. So let's do it. Well, actually I will put a little bit of corn red in the bottom of the mouth, because this is like a darker color, and I think that it's going to be better. So let's see how it looks. It's not the most visible, but that's the point, that the inside is kinda reddish but not super bright, because of course it's the inside of the mouth. And now I will apply some Screamer Pink to the borders and also some of the visible parts as well, and hopefully it will look nice. Let's see, let's hope that it will look nice.
Friendly advice: if one day you get this miniature, please consider painting the mouth before gluing the two parts together, because with the tentacles, the tongue and all these teeth, it's quite a challenge to paint inside of it, but it has been fun until now. As you can see, I applied 2 thin layers of Screamer Pink, and now I will use Wraith Bond for the teeth, because maybe if I use Corax White, it's going to be too white. So I will start with Wraith Bond, and let's see how it looks. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Let's start with it. I want to try to paint these ones on camera, but because of the tentacles and the tongue and the weird positions that I have to do, check, when I do this, the camera stops focusing in the brush and starts focusing on my finger, so it's like I cannot really show it, and I painted something that I shouldn't. Okay, I will do this outside of camera and then I will continue. Sometimes it surprises me how just adding some detail gives so much to the miniature. Now with the teeth painted, it's looking so much nicer than it used to look. I really like it right now. And now it's the moment for one of my favorite steps, and it's that I will add this shade to the violet parts. All these tentacles and the parts in the back. It's going to look super fun, and it's going to give it a lot much more of personality and enhance all these shapes and shadows. So it's going to be nice. We're going to have fun with it. Let's go. And as you can see, Druchii Violet is already dried, and we can see the shapes are more clear between all these gaps and such. and also, for example, between the tentacles it's more noticeable. But now it's the moment to apply some Slaanesh Grey, and I will apply this to enhance the highlights, let's say, and I will also apply it to every little of these small things to make them more, I don't know, noticeable. So let's go for that. Now, after that, the model should look quite nicer, so it will be fun. And as you can see, I already applied Slaanesh Grey over these tentacles of the miniature. Just by applying a little bit of highlight, it looks much better than the other side. I decided to do it not only on the parts that are going to be more exposed to the light, like the upper ones, but also in all the single teeth that it has there. And when you compare it with this one, you can clearly see that this one has more a nicer vibe right now. And before I continue, I should have done this earlier. I will paint whatever that the miniature is holding here. I'm not sure what it is, some kind of iron or something. I don't know. I will probably use some gray on the bottom and some metallic for the thing that it's holding. And here we have the arm of a space marine. And I'm not sure which colors I will use. I think that I will go for Imperial Fist because the contrast between this yellow and the miniature is going to be kind of nice, and of course it's going to have the yellow eyes. Because if I do it, like for example Ultramarine, it's going to be blue with blue, so I'm not a fan of that. I could also use some kind of white, maybe. Definitely not black, because as you can see it's too subtle. But maybe that's not a bad thing, actually, that being subtle. I don't know. I will think about that and I will come with a solution for that. And maybe I will try to... I started painting this one here, but maybe I will do this one in the back as well and this before continuing. So it's going well. Let's proceed with the miniature. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I painted everything related to the scenery around of this monster, like this part here, and the arm. In the end, I decided to give it some kind of whitish because I kind of wanted to do it like yellowish, like Imperial Fist, but then I was like, maybe it's going to be too visible, and like this with white, it's like you can notice that it's there, but it's not going to be distracting. And I didn't want it to be distracting. I didn't want it to be too subtle, but also not too distracting. So in the end, I think that white is okay. This is, I think, the first time that I paint white actually. So yeah, it was nice. It's I like how it looks right now. So now it's a good moment to paint the eyes. I will use for that first some Averland Sunset, and then I will apply some Ariel Yellow. So I hope that it will look nice, because I kind of sad right now that it doesn't have eyes to look. So let's proceed with that. And now that my baby has eyes, it's a good moment to remember that if I decided to paint the scenography around, it was because I wanted to do this arm to finally do these tentacles here. So now I will proceed with that, and as well I will use some Slaanesh Grey to enhance all the these spines, teeth, whatever, or even the highlights as well. So let's go with that. It will be fun. And with all the tentacles painted, now I only have two things left. I have to do some kind of highlight in the claws, because of course they are going to be black, but I wanted to have some kind of highlight so it won't look or it won't seem like they are not painted. And I have to do this, that I'm not sure how to do it for now. I think that I will try to give it some grays. I don't know, I'm not sure about that yet, but what I know for sure is that for the claws I am going to use some Asian Grey, and then I will apply some Dawnstone to even enhance more those highlights. So first of all I will start with Asian Grey, and after that they should look nicer, because right now they kind of suit the model, of course. But for example here you can clearly see that yes, the claw is like black, and the miniature itself, it has these colors, but in cases like this one it's like pure black, and yes, it has this unpainted vibe. So let's go for that. As you can see, like for example here, it's quite subtle. It's not super visible, but at least now it's not that, it doesn't look that unpainted. So now I will apply some dawnstone. It's like a lighter gray, and I will apply it in some areas around that. And thanks to that, I will make it a little bit more, let's say, visible. So let's do it. Close painted, and I'm happy with the result. I mean, it's not super noticeable, it's not super important, but now when you look at the clothes and such, you can see that they have some like texture or volume or something to it. It's not just plain black, so I'm much more happy with it. Maybe here I did it too thick. I will correct that later. But now I have been worried about this. I mean, I have been call it probably smoke at some point, but it's not smoke, it's some kind of liquid that it's like throw into the enemy. And that's why I will try to combine some kind of, I think, grayish, and then I will add maybe this Finalizing gray to make it more like visible. I will experiment because I don't know what I want to do with this one still, so let's see what happens with this. Let's experiment. I applied Asian gray to this, and it's not a huge difference, but at least now it's not fully black, and I really appreciate that. So now I will go with a layer of dawnstone in almost most of the parts, because I don't want this to be too dark but also don't be too bright. So I will apply some dawnstone, and after that it should look a little bit better. So let's see how it looks. Now it looks nicer. I did some kind of, let's call it wet dry brushing. I'm not sure. I just applied in the upper parts and let the colors melt nicely. That's why now I have some darker gray and some light gray, but now I really want this to look a little bit better, so I will try to add some Finalizing gray in the... I'm not sure where yet. I'm not sure if do it on the top parts or in the bottom parts. Probably I will start in the top parts and go a little bit to the middle. I will see how I feel. I'm not sure about this yet. Hopefully it will look nice in the end. Let's hope for that. And with this part finished, I will consider my first Tyranid monster as complete. I'm super happy with the results. I mean, it was super fun to paint something completely different to the things that I usually paint. So I cannot wait to paint another monster like this. It's nice because I have a few left in the Leviathan box. And that's for now. I mean, I guess that at some point in the future I will look at it and I will be like, maybe I should have done this here, or I should have done that, and I will change something. But for now, I'm super happy with the result. So this is it. This is my miniature. And if you are still here, of course, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.